Court 12 at the All England Club is not the biggest stage in tennis, but on June 30th, 2026, it felt like the loudest court in the Philippines. More than 10,000 m away from Manila, millions of Filipino fans watched as history unfolded. Is our champion in the player box? A father fought to hold back his emotions but couldn't. His daughter had just secured a commanding 6-1 6-2 victory. That daughter was the number 29 seed, Eala. And with that win, she became the first Filipino player in history to win a Wimbledon main draw match as a seeded competitor. It was a milestone that cameras around the world captured, a moment of pure pride and emotion. But while the broadcast celebrated the victory, Filipino social media was buzzing about something far more personal, something no television camera had ever revealed. It was a story involving a penthouse in Ocean View and a promise Alex made when she was just 13 years old, long before she boarded a plane to Mallorca to chase her dream. Subscribe now and join the community that believed in her journey before the rest of the world caught on. The people who believed in Eala before the rest of the world caught up are still here. If you've been following her journey from the beginning, consider this your seat at the table. To understand why an entire nation celebrated that final score with so much emotion, you have to rewind 8 years. Long before Alex became a Wimbledon seed, she was just a young girl training at the Rizal Memorial Sports Complex, chasing a dream that seemed almost impossible. Her father, Mike, a former competitive swimmer, put his own ambitions aside to travel with her to the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, dedicating himself to helping her pursue a professional tennis career. Meanwhile, her mother, Riza, a former Southeast Asian Games bronze medal-winning swimmer, continued working in an executive role at Globe Telecom while living out of suitcases, constantly traveling between Manila, Mallorca, and tournament stops around the world to support her daughter. Their sacrifice was captured perfectly by the Philippine Daily Inquirer, which described them as ever-present, but not disruptive. It was a simple phrase that reflected years of quiet dedication behind Alex's rise. Then, during the same week as her historic Wimbledon victory, Filipino social media erupted with a rumor that turned those years of sacrifice into a deeply emotional story. According to posts circulating online, Alex had secretly used her prize money to purchase an Ocean View penthouse overlooking Manila Bay as a gift for her parents. A gesture that, if true, would represent a remarkable way of repaying the family who sacrificed so much to help her chase her dream. The viral post claimed that the gift was Alex's tribute to her father, like the man who traded life around a swimming pool for countless hours beside a tennis baseline, and that he was overcome with emotion when he received the keys. It was a touching story that quickly captured the hearts of fans across the Philippines. However, one important fact must be made clear. Neither Eala nor any member of her family has publicly confirmed the claim, and no credible Philippine news organization has verified it. For now, the story exists only in the viral corners of social media, where passionate fans often celebrate their sporting heroes with stories that spread faster than facts. Yet, the reason this rumor gained so much attention was never just about a luxury penthouse. It was about the deeper meaning behind it. Filipino fans are not simply debating whether Alex bought her parents a home. They are asking whether she has finally reached the point in her career where she could, and whether after everything her family sacrificed, she has earned the opportunity to give something extraordinary back. That emotional question is what made the rumor feel believable to so many people. And to understand why, you have to begin with the numbers that made the story seem possible in the first place. As of the time of this research, Eala has earned $871,438 in prize money during the 2026 season, according to the WTA's official prize money rankings. Just 3 years ago, she was a promising junior fighting for wild cards and opportunities to prove herself. Today, in only 6 months, she has earned more prize money than many Filipino tennis players make over the course of an entire career. Whether the story about the penthouse is true or not, one thing is undeniable. The financial possibility is no longer out of reach. But beyond the money lies a sacrifice that can never truly be measured in dollars. Before Alex emerged as one of the brightest stars in tennis, her father, Eala, was a competitive swimmer. When Alex was just 13 years old, he put his own pursuits aside and moved with her to Mallorca so she could train at the Rafa Nadal Academy. Her mother, Riza Goila, never stopped working. While continuing her career as a finance executive at one of the Philippines' largest corporations, she remained a constant presence in her daughter's tennis journey, showing up at tournaments with the same unwavering support she gave Alex during her earliest days at the Rizal Memorial Sports Complex. This was never a family escaping poverty or chasing wealth, which is exactly why the rumor about buying a home for her parents resonated so deeply. Was never about financial need. It was about gratitude, sacrifice, and giving back to the people who made an extraordinary dream possible. Throughout tennis history, stories of champions honoring their parents have become part of their legacy. One of the most well-known examples is Serena Williams, who famously bought a home for her parents as a gesture of appreciation for the years they devoted to helping her and her sister achieve greatness. The same story has played out with other champions. In 2023, Coco Gauff made headlines for buying a home for her family. While in the Philippines, Manny Pacquiao's decision to build his mother a mansion in General Santos became more than a personal gift. It became a national symbol of gratitude, sacrifice, and success. For Filipino sports fans, every athlete who reaches that level of greatness is eventually measured against that same tradition of giving back. That is why the conversation surrounding Alexa extends far beyond a rumored penthouse. Whether the story is true or not, many fans have already begun placing her among the country's sporting icons. In their eyes, she is no longer simply a rising tennis player. She is becoming part of the nation's sporting legacy. Credit also belongs to the supporters who recognized her potential long before the global spotlight arrived. They followed her journey from the courts of Rizal Memorial Sports Complex to her junior triumphs at Roland Garros and her breakthrough run to the Miami Open semifinals. They believed in her when others dismissed their optimism as premature, biased, or driven by nationalism. Now, as Alex continues making history on the biggest stages in tennis, the mainstream media is finally telling the story that many Filipino fans have been sharing and believing in for years. Take a look at the timeline that led to this remarkable moment. In mid-June 2026, Eala found herself ranked number 56 and battling an inconsistent stretch of form. On June 15th, she staged an impressive comeback to capture the Birmingham Open title on grass, rallying from a set down to defeat Nicola Bardova. Just days later, on June 23rd, she suffered a disappointing first-round exit at the Bad Hamburg Open, marking her second defeat in the span of 3 days. Then, everything changed. On June 30th, Eala delivered a dominant 6-1 6-2 victory over Ranatata Zurzua on Court 12 at Wimbledon, securing the first main draw Wimbledon win of her career. The triumph also made her the first Filipino player to compete as a seeded player in a Grand Slam and the first Filipino seed to win a Wimbledon main draw match. In the space of just 1 week, she had gone from the frustration of a locker room defeat to writing a new chapter in Philippine tennis history. Throughout that journey, one quote from Alex has continued to resonate with fans. In a WTA feature filmed during the ASB Classic on January 6, 2026, she looked into the camera and said, "Home is not a place, it's the people." That simple statement became the emotional foundation of the viral rumor. Whether or not an ocean view penthouse overlooking Manila Bay actually exists, the feelings behind the story certainly do. Alex's words are part of the public record, and for many fans, they perfectly reflect the gratitude and family values they have always seen in her. That is why so many people found the story easy to believe. You don't have to rely on viral Facebook posts to understand the significance of Eala's achievement. On June 30th, 2026, the official Instagram account of Wimbledon, the oldest, most prestigious, and one of the most tradition-rich tournaments in tennis, shared highlights from her historic victory. In its caption, Wimbledon itself referred to Eala as a national hero of the Philippines. Read those words again. They did not come from a Filipino news outlet covering a hometown success, nor from a fan page celebrating one of its favorite athletes. They came directly from Wimbledon, the same championship that has chronicled the careers of legends like Roger Federer, Serena Williams, and Novak Djokovic. When a tournament with nearly 150 years of history chooses those words to describe a 21-year-old player, they become more than praise. They become part of the historical record. At that point, the growing legend surrounding Alex begins to intersect with reality. While social media continues to speculate about stories such as the rumored penthouse gift, the confirmed achievements are already extraordinary on their own, and her journey is far from over. With a place in the second round secured, fans are refreshing the draw by the hour, eagerly anticipating a potential matchup with Maya Joint and wondering just how deep Alexa's Wimbledon run could be. A place in the third round would move Alexa another step closer to breaking into the WTA's top 20, a milestone no Filipina tennis player has ever achieved. Beyond Wimbledon, the calendar quickly shifts to the North American hardcourt season with major stops in Cincinnati and the U.S. Open Series tournaments, where she had only begun to establish herself a year earlier. But what makes this moment truly different from every previous breakthrough is that Alex is no longer just a story of one talented player representing one nation. Following her Wimbledon success, she has become the face of a growing Filipino presence in global tennis. For decades, the Philippines has invested much of its sporting identity in boxing and basketball. Now, for the first time, the country has a tennis star generating worldwide headlines, competing for major titles, and earning prize money on the sport's biggest stages, all while representing a nation of more than 115 million people. If Alex continues her run in London, international media attention will only intensify. Reporters will travel to Manila to tell the story behind the athlete, the family, and the sacrifices that shaped her journey. They may even investigate the viral rumor about the Ocean View penthouse to determine whether it was simply an inspiring social media story or a private family moment that had yet to be confirmed. Regardless of how that story ends, one thing is certain. Eala's rise was never a straight line. It was built through years of perseverance, setbacks, sacrifices, and steady progress that ultimately led her to one of the biggest stages in world tennis. Just 7 days before her Wimbledon debut, Eala suffered a first-round defeat at the Bad Hamburg Open, her second loss in the span of only 3 days. Some tennis analysts even described her coaching changes before Wimbledon as a significant gamble. Yet, Alex didn't respond with lengthy social media posts or emotional press conferences. Instead, she quietly traveled to London, accepted the expectations that came with being a seeded player, and walked onto court 12. There, she delivered her answer in the clearest way possible. A commanding 6-1-6-2 victory over Ranatada Zerzua, a performance that marked a historic breakthrough for Philippine tennis. When you step back and look at the full picture, the journey becomes even more powerful. It is the story of a father who put aside his own ambitions as a competitive swimmer when his daughter was just 13, so she could pursue her dream in Majorca. It is the story of a mother whom the Philippine Daily Inquirer once described as ever-present, but not disruptive, a quiet force who stood behind her daughter's rise every step of the way. It is also the story of a viral rumor claiming Alex secretly bought her parents an Ocean View penthouse overlooking Manila Bay. A claim that to this day has not been confirmed by Alex, her family, or any credible news organization. Then there are Alex's own words spoken months earlier. Home is not a place, it's the people. And shortly afterward came Wimbledon's tribute with the tournament's official account calling her a national hero of the Philippines. Together, those moments created a narrative that resonated with millions of fans. Whether Eala actually bought her parents an Ocean View home is still unknown, but the fact that so many Filipinos embrace the story says something meaningful on its own. For them, the true gift is not a penthouse or a luxury property. The gift is Alex herself, her perseverance, her humility, and the hope she has given an entire generation of young athletes who now believe that the world's biggest tennis stages are within reach. So, here's a question for you. If Alex were to confirm tomorrow that the penthouse story is true, would you prefer that she keep it private as a deeply personal family gesture, or would you want her to share it publicly as an inspiration for the next Filipino child picking up a racket at Rizal Memorial Sports Complex? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you've been following Alex's journey since before the seeding, before the Birmingham title, and before Wimbledon introduced her to a global audience, then you already know what this community is about. Subscribe and stay with the people who believed in her before the rest of the world caught up. The supporters who recognized her potential from the very beginning are still here.